Welcome back to Softcore History. I'm your host for the week, Dan Jester, and I am joined, as always, by Jake Goldman.
Hey-o.
And Rob Fox.
Now, when did you take your vows?
Yeah, Dan.
Since the last time you just look different.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about this. 2019.
You took your vows in 2019?
Yeah, you know it was a dark year when I entered the priesthood.
Yeah, you went to the fucking, what do you call it? Not the cemetery. Cemetery.
He actually thought he was getting on the Scholastic school bus.
Seminary. Fuck. Yeah,
Seminary, yeah.
Seminary.
I knew you had it.
Memory ain't what it used to be.
He thought he was getting on the Scholastic school bus, but it was the monastic school bus. And 4 years later, we have Monk Dan.
I was thinking about this the other day. I'll have to look up what the name of the book was, but I bought this Civil War book, like a historical fiction novel about this kid who fights for the Confederacy in the Civil War. And it's like, I read this one maybe in like third grade, and like there's like a guy gets shot in the stomach who's like his friend and is like bleeding out and in horrible
I remember
pain.
that book.
It took place at the Battle of Shiloh.
Really?
Yeah.
You both have read this book?
Yeah. Johnny Tremaine was in the Revolutionary War. I also read that. What happened to your hand, Johnny?
Read a lot of alien weird books when I was a kid.
Of course you did. Good Lord.
Not
I was
into dinosaurs.
I was
which
reading,
should
like-
also not surprise you.
No,
Oh, really?
zero.
See, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, here's what our kid is not going to be into. Cars and dinosaurs, because that's what idiots are into.
Cool.
I was into Egypt, military men.
Call me an
Still
idiot all you want. I can beat your ass. So maybe Rory and Finn should get in dinosaurs so they're not bitches.
Yeah.
Nah. That's what dumb idiots like.
Okay.
All right. Well, speaking of dumb idiots, this week I got my subject matter from a video game.
No way.
Crazy.
Weird.
For all of you that don't know, Dan is a fervent Ass Creed fan.
Big ass Creed guy.
Yeah, big ass Creed guy. He's dressed. I guess if you're listening along, we didn't really note this, but he's dressed as a monk.
I
That's
was
where all the
looking
monk
for
jokes
more
are.
of a tunic,
Oh,
but
okay.
couldn't find it at Party City.
So you went to Party City today to get this outfit?
Yeah.
Man, I bet there was deals. November 3rd, whatever.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, I got this on like a 30% discount.
Yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Fucking deals,
You
bro.
probably could have haggled at Party City.
But no, ended up with a monk outfit, which still kind of works because, as we'll get into it, these are, of course, people that would be deceptive.
Monks?
Yeah, all monks. All monks are
Monks, priests.
kind of deceptive.
Yeah. They hold a lot of power.
No, we're going to talk about it. But first, let's do some house cleaning. Patreon.com/softcorehistory. 2 additional episodes every week. One of which I did 2 weeks ago on the siege of Baghdad, and we actually covered the origin, or not the origin, but we briefly discussed the order of the assassins
We did.
with
we did.
the Mongols just kind of running train.
Yeah. The Mongols, it was like a speed bump on the way to Baghdad for them.
It was.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, what was that?
So for the main episode today, I'm going to dig a little deeper into that order of assassins. But of course, patreon.com/softcorehistory. Listen to that Baghdad episode. Listen to hundreds of evergreen hours of content. Make sure to do that. Rob, what are you doing right now?
I'm just trying to find that book. I'm obsessed with it now. Like, I'm on a mission.
We've moved past that.
I know.
we're
I know.
so far
You
past
can
the book.
probably stop.
If you haven't found it
Yeah.
yet,
It's over. It
It's-
actually never even happened.
I think it was a fever dream, yeah.
I was about to say you guys have like some sort of Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Brain going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know you believe in that, Rob.
Mandela effect.
Yeah, it's
big
your favorite
big
thing.
Mandela effect believer.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You slid into a different universe.
There's nothing, no stronger of a cognitive disassociation than that. Like
No, dude,
dissonance.
that's what this
yeah.
tattoo is.
It's like, no, my entire reality is shifted timelines.
It doesn't matter which lighthouse you walk towards. It's always the same.
Yeah.
BioShock.
Yeah. It must be way more comforting believing you live in a house of mirrors. Like, Christ. Like, oh, I think this.
It's like not only are you not wrong, but you're so special
You slid.
that you can slide universes.
And it's not just me. There's a lot of us out
Yeah,
there.
so it's actually like, no, actually, I'm not mildly embarrassed here. I'm actually a god.
What if the rapture actually did happen in 2000 and like instead of it being hell and brimstone, it's just like you just got shifted into just a shittier universe. Where it's like, yeah, there's no cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom logo now.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is hell.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Also, make sure to leave a review if you can. Please and thank you. 5 stars, Spotify, Apple. But, let's just get to the episode right now.
Let's get into it.
Let's do this.
Again, this video game, Assassin's Creed, that I've been playing since I was, 12.
The first one
13
came
years
out
old.
when I was in college.
So I was in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is all kind of based around this real life order of assassins.
Is this the one that the word assassin comes from? The hashishin or whatever?
Hassan.
Yeah, it's because they smoked hash and killed people.
Yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Kind of
So-
cool.
Way to spoil the episode, Rob.
How is that spoiling it?
It's a big part of later down the line.
There's
So the word
pages.
assassin actually comes from man or men who smoke hashish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hassan.
That's just like a fun trivia question.
Yeah.
It is, but
That was
you
the
could
big
not
twist.
stomp on my episode. Jesus.
I didn't. All right, I'm sorry. I'm
So-
just flex. I'm just trying to flex. I couldn't remember seminary. I had to get, and I couldn't remember the book. I had to.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you pulled out a win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I am a god who slides dimensions.
Of course.
Now, this order kind of originates from the Nizaris, who kind of to go back to Islam in 632 AD. There was obviously that original schism over who should succeed the Prophet Muhammad. This split the Muslim community into Shiites and Sunnis
Nepo babies and
Merit.
and grinders.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And socialists.
Meritocracy and nepos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then in the 9th century, another disagreement over leadership arose among the Shiites. Followers of a leader named Ismail broke off into their own sect, the Ismailis. In 1095, an Ismaili prince named Nizar was in line to rule Cairo in Egypt. When he was passed over in favor of his younger brother, Nizar briefly seized and ruled Alexandria, but was soon executed after.
Man,
Executed secretly?
No,
Okay.
publicly, I imagine.
very public.
Well, I didn't know if it was like a trial or like hashishinated.
This is the group that dedicates themselves to, which we will now find out, this man that was executed.
Okay.
So he was not assassinated himself, but the order of the assassins are all kind of based off this man's followers.
Okay. So they were like, we love this guy.
Mhm.
Let's make a secret society
So
of drug-using murderers.
they loved him so much they had to smoke hash and kill.
Yeah. In his name. Man,
We'll get to it.
all we do is drink bread and wine in our God's name.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
Yeah. Doing hard drugs and murdering?
Yeah.
His followers fled to Persia, where they found their own branch of Ismailism and established their own line of succession. Ismaili missionary Hasan-i Sabbah became the leader of the Order of Assassins.
Nice.
So this dude Hassan is kind of the key figure here.
And what year is it? You said 1090s? Something like that?
This was after so Nazir was executed in 1095.
Okay.
So this is all going to be kind of
Right around
early
1100.
12th century.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're right around the First Crusade too, right?
There's a bunch of crusades going on.
Yeah.
Hassan was a deeply controversial figure, portrayed as both a devout religious scholar and the father of modern terrorism.
Oh,
Sick.
damn. So the assassins kind of started the whole thing.
A lot of
I think
people
that's-
compare the Order of the Assassins to like ground floor ISIS or
Oh, yikes.
like Al Qaeda.
So not very organized.
I kind of feel like this guy is definitely not the father of terrorism. I feel like terrorism is old as humanity itself. Unless they're talking about like guerrilla terrorism.
I think that's what they mean by
Okay.
that. Because
Yeah.
like
like sort
Guerrilla fighting.
like
okay.
because war is war, not terrorism. Like attack.
but you
like,
still like terrorize civilian populations in order to accomplish political goals, right?
Certainly.
You go around, like people have been doing that thousands of years before fucking.
yeah, that's true. But I think there is something like there's something about it where it's like not a cavalry coming through and like raiding a town.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like,
They didn't have enough men for that.
yeah.
So this is it's like ISIS.
It's like
okay.
sleepers. You
Did
know?
they have pickup trucks?
No pickup trucks back then.
boy.
No tacos.
Unfortunately, no. So his followers fled to Persia. Like I said, Hassan, under his leadership, the assassins grew into a influential religious and political power. In the process, they unleashed a wave of murder that terrorized the Middle East for centuries. So they really go, they're bucking from like 1100 to 1300.
Okay.
That's a good run.
It's a good 200-year run.
Yeah.
Anyone that
I meant to ask, how big is the actual group? Do they ever get like a number count?
No, but eventually it's like 50 remote locations, like 50 bases. So somewhere around a couple hundred to 1,000, couple thousand people.
Okay, but so like super
Not
small.
giant armies. Just
Yeah.
Just
Because didn't you say that? Well, I guess Baghdad's already sacked at this point, but the population of Baghdad was
It's
like
not sacked.
This is pre-sack.
This is pre-sacked.
Oh, right. And but the population of it was like 1 million or something, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, we did that some disjustice, I guess, on the show too. It would have been like Baghdad being sacked then. What was the thing you sent?
It was like New York City, LA, San Francisco, Tokyo, any major city you think of now, like combined
it. Yeah.
just being wiped off the map.
Yeah, it would be like every cultural epicenter gone. Like as far as like
So it's just like-
Statistically, with the percentage of the population in the Earth compared to the one city.
So it's just
Yeah.
like some Russian spilling coffee on the nuke button and everything launching
Yeah.
at the cities they're still aimed at.
exactly.
So Hassan would take any of his recruits under his wing to nights in the garden. This is how he kind of locked guys down. A lot of kids from like 12 to 20, he would find either on the
Classic.
streets or, you know, if they didn't really have anything going on,
Okay, I take it
Kinda
back.
take
This
'em
guy's,
under-
this guy's the father of terrorism.
Yeah.
take them under his tutelage, and was a big fan of using opium.
Oh, that's stronger
Get your
than
hooks
hash.
in 'em.
Yeah.
Well, there
That's
is
like-
hash, but opium are for the recruitment nights.
oh, that's like midnight, huh? Yeah.
So
okay.
you go to the garden with Hassan. He gets you high on opium. He brings in some ladies.
You think he's out there like, hey, it's opium night with the brothers, with
Yeah.
the assassins.
That's
Come
right,
on
you
to the
know-
garden.
Pledge pinning night, they get you a nice bottle,
Yeah.
right? They're bringing out the Tito's or the fucking
Like something with a name brand.
Bullet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. The rest of the semester, it's fucking
It's forced down your throat and it's well.
yeah.
So you're getting fucked up on opium. You're hooking up with probably some prostitutes, some ladies of the night, you know.
Mhm. Also, orphans. You're like, oh, I remember you from the alley. You a prostitute here now? I'm a murderer here now.
Oh my God, look how far we've come.
Wow.
Look at us.
We did it.
Look at us.
And this is kind of what he describes as like a sliver of heaven for, you know, the eventual goal. He's like, I can open it up for certain nights, and then when you die, this is your reward. This is what you'll kind of come into every night.
So this is the origin of the
72
your reward.
virgins.
Yeah, like
He's like, I'm going to show you just here, 2 virgins.
now imagine this.
They're definitely not virgins.
Yeah.
But imagine if they were, right? So imagine if they were and there were 70 more.
Yeah. Like, imagine these chicks fucking you, but they're virgins, so they're much worse at it.
Yeah. And there's 70 of them.
It's just,
But you never nut. You never nut.
But I mean, you're 12 years old. Some old man in the mountain brings you in to his garden.
Oh, and you have nothing going for you? You're just a street kid, especially?
this just sounds like Jared Leto's house.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, they were painted as heretics. The Nizari were hated by both the Shiite and Sunni Muslims alike. They were constantly outnumbered and surrounded by enemies on all sides. The embattled Nizari state did what it needed to survive.
You know, I think it says a lot about the fact that they were doing the right thing if they're getting hate from all sides. Because, like, hey, if you hate me so much, why don't you recruit better?
Right.
They just recruit well. You know, everyone hates
They're at the-
recruiters.
yeah, they're
Oh,
at the-
they do this. Oh, they do that.
Drop in the bag.
Oh, they're both giving them opium.
Why
yeah,
you drop
well,
the bag?
yeah.
bitch?
Why don't you give them opium night? Maybe you'd be better at recruiting.
The sect created strongholds in the mountains of Persia and Syria and trained a select group of fighters. For those who sacrificed themselves, the Fadayin were known both for their devotion and their deadliness. According to some accounts, Hassan would ask certain recruits to take a leap of faith jumping off high platforms or cliffs to their death to test their devotion.
Well, they would die.
They would die.
That seems like a bad recruitment tool.
Yeah, I don't know that is useful.
No, it's after a certain
There must have been like a
amount of time with him.
I was about to say there must be like some sort of performance test he's doing ahead of time where it's like, okay, well, these guys are going
There's
to
got the cliff. There's one to Clifford.
He's a leap guy.
Yeah. This guy, he's good. Put him in the assassin training.
So this is directly in the video game now, where
jumping.
you jump into a haystack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a thing of flowers. Didn't happen in real life. He died.
He just died. Yeah.
He just died.
Cool.
But he just wanted to show the kind of power he had over his recruits
Wow.
and his men.
That's great. It seems like a really piss poor way to
If
get
I
anything done.
say
You guys-
jump, you say how high.
You say how
Or how low.
far down?
how far down you want me to take a gainer right now? Ugh.
Yeah. So Hasan realized he couldn't just hold up in caves in the mountains and grow his following. So he focused on capturing the fortress Alamut in current-day Iran.
Okay. Get your fortress.
So that he could just kind of like hole up in there.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
Because the fortress Alamut was isolated and virtually impregnable to outside forces. In its 200 year of existence, it had never fallen. Unfortunately, at this time, it was already occupied by the enemies, the Seljuk Turks.
Seljuk, I think.
Seljuk.
Seljuk? All right.
Either way, the Turks.
yeah, them Turks.
The Seljuks. Hasan spent the next 2 years infiltrating his followers into Alamut. His followers went deep undercover, working in the surrounding town, and even got jobs inside the fortress. They slowly converted the majority of inhabitants to follow Hasan, and once it was realized that he had the majority of the castle under his wing, he smuggled himself inside and offered to purchase the castle from its owner.
That's a nice bargain.
We're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. Like fucking Mo Green.
Yeah.
Because everyone around, once he gets in there,
Yeah. He's like, just so you know, everyone here works for me. If you don't believe me, hey, you, jump off that cliff.
Seems-
See? They all.
They will do it.
Yeah.
It seems like a common theme with the last couple episodes too of I'm going to offer you something. You really should take it.
you should probably take
You
it.
should probably
won.
take it.
You get
Everyone
one
gets
chance.
one.
It'd be funny. What the guy should have done has been like, all right, if they're so devoted to you, have one of you guys jump off a cliff like you say you can. And then he does it, and he's like, do another. And just keep going until he stops. Just kind of,
Now
cull
you.
the herd a little
It's
bit.
like, now
Wait
you
a
go.
minute. It's like a pile of bodies. It's like, one more.
Yeah. I don't believe you.
I'm not buying this.
Unsurprisingly, the official took the offer.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Got a nice little bag of gold on his way out.
Get
Did
the
he really?
bag.
Did he? And he was fine? Nothing happened to him?
Nothing happened to him.
That guy was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were saying like, oh, on the last one, that guy, you don't know what he had to do
Right.
or whatever. This guy had the
It's like-
same situation.
It's like playing chess, and then but at the end of chess, if you get checkmated, you can either shake the person's hand and go on about your life, or deny that you're in checkmate and they get to shoot you in the face with a gun. There's just a pistol.
but if you
laying
live,
there.
then you win.
Yeah.
The assassins carried out surgical strikes against selected political targets. They trained to infiltrate, kill, and submit to torture and death if necessary. The Nizari assassins gained an outsized reputation. The medieval faction typically acted in self-defense and attacked only political and military figures, but not the larger population.
So, like in The Professional, no women, no kids.
In military and politics, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Those are the only people that have power.
Yeah, in the video games, it's more for the greater good that they commit these acts.
Right.
Assassins.
I'm sure they want you to want to play the character in the game,
Right, but for
Yeah.
this, it's more just self-preservation. It's not necessarily for the greater good. It's
Yeah.
just like, hey, they're a threat to us. We got to take them out.
There's some politician in town being like, why are we letting assassins live in a fort outside of town?
Hey, we should get that guy.
Yeah, they're like,
Him?
he needs to go.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
asking too many
I mean,
questions.
that's a great question. Hey, all these guys out here doing cartwheels and smoking hash and murdering captains.
Yeah,
like,
and they keep abducting street girls out of the alleys and making them whores, and then and then street boys and turning them into I mean, it's just, and there's drugs everywhere.
It's opium. It's just cartwheels and prostitutes and opium, guys.
I'm
What's
just
happening?
saying. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's weird. That guy's dead the next day.
So dead.
At times, they wouldn't even need to kill, though. They simply would break into a target's chamber, leave a dagger, throw a note next to their bed with a message that read, "Next time this goes through your heart."
Oh, did they invent that? Did they invent the dagger note?
Yeah, I think they are. That's the precursor to the bullet on the front step.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a nice power play, though. It's
it
like,
is good.
I was next to you. You were asleep.
That is scary. Yeah, if I woke up with a knife and a note, like, I'm leaving town.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I wonder if he ever like told them too. The leader was like, "Man, and just so you know, like, if you do get caught and tortured, every like hour you don't say anything, and like however bad it is, that's just like heaven's gonna be so much more rad for you.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have such a better heaven than the other guys.
Like 82 virgins.
Every hour.
Every hour it's 10 more.
Yeah.
Stack it.
The assassins would branch out from Alamut and form over 50 bases of operation through the Middle East. They constantly came at odds with the Seljuks. The fortress of Shadiz in the modern Iranian province of Isfahan was a good example of the back and forth struggle. After successfully converting many of the surrounding towns, the assassins seized the fortress in 1100. It remained under their control for 7 years, during which time the Ismaili converts in the region suffered under a withering barrage of Turkish attacks.
Oh, so as soon as they get in that fortress, they're just getting got by Turks.
Different fort, though.
Oh, they took another one.
It's a different fort.
And
Yeah.
these are different Turks. It
So
should be
they were
noted
trying
that-
to branch out from Alamut. Alamut, at this point, is just like, nobody can go there.
Okay.
like, you're not
like,
going to take it.
You're never going to take it.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
I
There's
get-
one way in. There's so many choke points.
There's a bunch of assassins.
I
in
get.
there.
I mean, your best case scenario would just be starving it out. But
Yeah.
those fortresses, I mean, you're going to have your army sit there for like 5 years.
it's basically it's a beehive. Basically, you
yeah.
can't go in there.
Seljuks, by the way, should be noted different than Ottomans.
Ah,
Different Turks.
okay.
After successfully converting the surrounding towns, the assassins seized that fortress again, like I said, in 1100. In 1107, Sultan Muhammad Tapar launched a concerted effort against Ismaili strongholds in his territory. The Sultan personally led a massive force against Shadiz and slaughtered the entire garrison. The local leader of the assassins was skinned alive and his head preserved as a grisly trophy of the Sultan's victory.
Oh, they were flying.
Yeah, man. It's nice, like when you just do the hits,
Yeah.
the standards, It's like play the hits, the flays,
yeah.
take
why
his
not?
head off. Yeah,
Hey, man, you flaying?
it's flaying like a champ.
In the very same year, they had a bit of a heat check.
Oh,
Well,
The Seljuks, that is.
okay.
They made another effort to destroy the heart of the assassin power at Alamut. But like I said, it's pretty impregnable.
yeah.
Yeah.
This time, they sent an army bent on vengeance, led by the son of murdered Nazim al-Mulk. Another siege unfolded, during which many Ismailis in the surrounding area were killed. The assassins once again managed to break the siege, but the Sultan refused to quit. He sent a third army to Alamut in 1109.
I mean, that's just, he's a sultan.
Yeah,
He
we're
never hears no.
Yeah, that, and we're getting into sunk cost fallacies now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This time, the siege would last 8 years
Jeez.
and devastate the entire region around the fortress.
Sometimes I kind of think a siege might be good for an economy, but they're just probably stealing everything. So.
A siege would be good for the economy outside of the place being sieged.
Yeah, the
Yeah, like-
siege, no, but everything else, you gotta,
The ring around it.
people
it's
gotta
like,
grow more food, all this stuff. Also, I'm looking at pictures of this, and it's just like, they just live on a mountaintop.
oh, well, that makes it difficult.
Like, it's just, I don't even understand how this was occupied.
What is it in Game of Thrones? Vale.
Yeah.
The Vale, yeah.
It's kind of similar to that. If I was to guess, where they got their inspiration from, it's probably this.
I'm
Like,
Oh my God.
How do you
This thing
get
is
up to this?
This thing is ridiculous.
How does anyone live here? It doesn't look comfortable.
No, it really doesn't. I can't really. Why do they care at this point? It's like if they're stuck there, there's nothing good there.
Well, just as they're about to break the assassins, year 8, the Sultan dies
Oh,
Great.
and his army is recalled.
they're just like, yeah, we got better things to do.
I wouldn't say better because after the Sultan dies, the Seljuk Empire falls into civil war.
Yeah. Well,
So they got to take care of their own.
you're right.
Yeah. It's like we wasted a lot of resources on this like big fucking sky castle full of assassins for some reason. So
They rebuilt their fortress with the army gone, opened trade relations with nearby powers, and even started to tax the territory under their control.
oh, okay.
So they became gangsters.
Yeah.
Literal mafia. Yeah,
Just-
organized crime.
I'm sorry. Because they in a territory they occupied, they took taxes. It makes you the mafia.
Makes them the mafia.
What's the difference between that and the just ruling government?
You know what, you fucking communist?
Wait, I'm sorry. Me saying
Oh, yeah, you're right. You know what, you fucking anarcho-capitalist?
yeah,
Taxation is death.
get your fucking shit right,
I don't
dude.
even know.
Yeah. It's okay.
Hassan, the father of the assassins, died peacefully in 1124
Of course he did.
at Alamut.
Died in his castle. That's great. Good for you, Hassan.
He was followed by a succession of leaders as the assassins continued to expand throughout the Middle East. Outside of Alamut, the greatest center of the assassins' power was in Syria.
Okay.
It was there that the assassins encountered the Crusadan armies of the Christian West.
Were they like in Antioch or something, or in just somewhere in Syria?
They had bases all over.
Yeah, it's probably like all around they're running into these folks.
They didn't really have like a central, I don't think, location in Syria.
Okay.
The bizarre relationship between the Crusaders and assassins is perhaps best exemplified by the alternating friendship and animosity between the two. Because the Syrian assassins and the Knights Templar were kind of cut from the same cloth.
They sound very similar.
What did the Knights Templar get high on opium and bang whores?
Nope. They were both religiously devoted. They had an inclination for violence and extreme secrecy. And both believed that death in battle led to rewards in the afterlife.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Isn't actually the Knights Templar the bad guys in the first Assassin's Creed?
In all the Assassin's Creed, kind of.
Oh, okay. That's like one of the through lines.
Mm-hmm.
Like how it's always Ganondorf.
But they're kind of, from
is
my
always
research,
Ganondorf.
they're a little bit more homies than enemies for the most part.
Yeah.
Because they're both going against the same like kind of Muslim enemies.
The same, yeah. Like
Yeah, I
Muslim
guess-
powers in the area.
Yeah, because they're not Sunni or Shiite. They're their own.
They're their
deal.
own thing.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
So the many similarities spawned a number of wild theories about the exact nature of the relationship between the two groups. Some historians have even suggested the Templar rule was derived from the assassins, and that their exposure to the sect was the reason behind the later charges of heresy against the Templars.
Oh, for them doing their weird shit underground? Yeah.
So remember, we've talked about this in like previous episodes with the Templars, how I think the Pope just excommunicated all of them.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's because they were hiding the Holy Grail and the truth about Jesus' bloodline.
Oh.
I think it was just because they associated with this group.
Yeah, no, it definitely was not the plot to Da Vinci Code.
Oh, I was supposed to say, isn't that a Dan Brown book?
Yeah. No, yeah.
Okay.
However, not all was peaceful between the Templars and the assassins. 3 years after joining forces with Raymond of Antioch, the assassins turned on their former allies and murdered Count Raymond III of Tripoli, a prominent leader of the Crusaders.
Oh.
Can't even trust an assassin. Who
These-
can you trust?
These days.
It's just
Used to be honest work.
it used to be. People used to be. Yeah, people used to have honor. People definitely weren't always stabbing each other in the back. I don't know what 10-year window of Earth people were like. It used to mean something.
Yeah. Never did.
Fucking talking.
It's always been violent.
Yeah.
It's always been absolutely cutthroat.
Yeah. It's
This is the most rules we've ever had.
yeah. It's mostly blood and shit, wall to wall. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah. Man used to be a man.
You put a seed in the ground and it grew a thing.
Back when men were men, he's like stealing boys and giving them child whores. It's like, that's a man. Getting hooked on drugs. It's like, that's a
man.
not like today with all the kids on drugs.
Same as it ever was. Yeah.
God damn it. Fucking can't.
Perhaps their most famous target was the Crusade leader, Conrad of, you're going to have to correct me on this, Montferrat?
I can't. I probably have to read it. I can't.
Just
do it.
Montferrat.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Sure.
Montferrat.
If it's French,
It's probably French, yeah.
Montferrat.
Who was intercepted as he walked home from dinner with a bishop in the city of Tyre in modern-day Lebanon.
Tyre, actually.
Tyre.
Yeah.
Okay. And stabbed to death just days before he was scheduled to be crowned king of Jerusalem in April of 1192.
Ooh.
That's not good.
That's funny to me, though, that, like, was he just at a restaurant
Yeah, I guess so.
in 1192?
Just going out with his boy.
Yeah, with his bishop.
Just
Like,
getting
they're
a-
just
getting
fucking,
a meal.
they're
Dude.
fucking chilling.
Yeah. What was like a deli? So you're getting like a
Do you think they had a street cart back then?
the kebab cart?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely
They
that.
probably did.
Yeah, they probably had street vendors selling foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is how they did it. They were disguised as monks,
Oh.
Sick.
and they murdered the future king of Jerusalem.
Did you pat him down before when he came in this? Did you
did
pat him
not.
down? Oh,
Did
fuck.
not. Shook his penis as his tradition.
Yeah,
but
that's how we greet each
didn't
other.
do
I guess.
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually, that reminds me of that scene in Munich.
Where they shook each other's penises?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
okay.
scene. Different film than what I'm.
Oh, that Munich. Right. Which
yeah,
scene in Munich?
Both. They show like all the Mossad dudes like walk up, dressed as chicks to the, I think, Palestinian fucking guard post or whatever, and then just like whip out their, I don't know, Uzis or whatever they
Probably
have.
Uzis,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, many believe they were acting as killers for hire. For one, this is a name you'll know, Richard the Lionheart.
Oh.
What?
So they had some like, I guess some like diversion in political suspicion. Like they were like they were doing it for their own reason, but people were like, oh, that might have been Richard the Lionheart.
But also sometimes you gotta pay to play. Like, we need to make some money. Richard Lionheart needs to get rid of this future king of Jerusalem.
Oh, you think they took a contract?
Yeah, they were contract killers.
Oh,
So why? Because Richard wanted to be king of Jerusalem. Richard led the Third Crusade, which started shortly after, not the Second Crusade ended, but after Jerusalem was retaken. Interesting. Fuck. I did not know that. That's a twist.
It's crazy they got all the way down there.
I know.
How did they fucking get down there? Like, I just don't understand how land could be occupied that well back then.
I mean, all you gotta do is keep the army there. They hole up in castles, and
Yeah, you build fortifications.
yeah,
and
then
you
you're good to go.
keep an eye out.
You don't really need to occupy the surrounding land.
Yeah,
You just got to be able to roll out.
yeah,
Like, it's not like, you think about like the U.S. invasion of Iraq, right?
yeah.
We had dudes everywhere.
Right.
Like
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
No, so they just would build like they'd establish a settlement or a fortification of some sort.
Yeah, and they'd roll out, collect their taxes, and kill you, and if they needed to, whatever.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Though, still the sheer amount of like will it would take to get that done.
It's honestly a pretty impressive undertaking.
I mean, when you start talking about times like this, people are like, "Oh God, monarchy and stuff." It's like they fucking earned it. It's not like it was easy to do it.
right?
Yeah, like, I mean, that's why it was like that. That's why it was like that until like what, 200 fucking years ago? 250? 100? Like, yeah, I mean,
Oh no, more than 100. It's 2023.
yeah.
120.
Yeah. We're brand new off that shit.
There, 120 years ago, there were absolute monarchs ruling Russia. Nothing's changed there, I suppose. Germany, fucking
Who has an absolute monarch now? Probably just Jordan.
basically, yeah. I mean,
Who's actually a cool
Russia has
king,
an
yeah.
autocrat, but not a monarch.
Yeah, there's a lot of places that have monarchs under the facade of parliament,
Yeah, King Charles.
Mm.
but but
That'd be sick if King Charles was actually the puppet master, just running everything.
Oh.
Or what if he just like led a charge? You're like, I'm taking back my country.
Dude, honestly, there would be a not insignificant amount of people who would be like,
I would guarantee
let's
at least,
go.
I guarantee you at least like 30%.
Yep,
would be
yep.
all for it.
Yep.
So the assassin's adversaries, at a loss of explaining their effectiveness, portrayed them as fanatics driven by vision of paradise induced by smoking hashish.
Were they wrong?
You know, the truth lies somewhere in the middle.
I feel like what
you told us they were walking off a cliff.
And I believe you said their recruitment night was opium and whores. So I think the middle is dead center in the middle of that statement.
It seems like they nailed it.
Yeah, it's like it.
All right,
No lies
so
told.
A lot of this information is kind of secondhand notes, secondhand information from outsiders because, and we'll get to it eventually, but like a lot of their own record keeping was obviously destroyed by the Mongols.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And they had like a really big library in Alamut, and they had a giant amount of like they were pretty good at keeping their records, and it's all gone.
Interesting.
But the only people that really kind of documented what they did were their enemies, and weirdly, Marco Polo.
Marco Polo was in on this shit?
Yeah.
Let's go. Man, he was everywhere.
He was. That
Well,
was
he
his
was
thing.
rolling with the fucking Mongols, wasn't he?
He definitely went to Asia. He was in China.
Isn't that the whole premise of that Netflix show?
I never watched it.
He definitely meets. I know he. I haven't watched it, but I know he like meets them. Like meets in the show meets like a Mongol or whatever. But
I'm pretty sure he met Genghis
I don't think he met Genghis because he was
in the show, not
Oh,
not
yeah.
in real life.
Yeah.
because he was born in 1254.
Would have been a little hard.
Yeah,
1254.
Marco Polo was.
That doesn't line up to this then.
Well, my assumption is so like a lot of history back then, and certainly further back, like our best accounts of like certain things in ancient
It's like
Rome.
50 or 70 years later.
Yeah, Herodotus was like would write about things that happened like 100, 200 years.
They would
before.
find probably scattered documents and try to like
Yeah.
they were content aggregators.
Basically, yeah, literally.
They
yeah.
were aggregators.
Right. That and or they would put pen to paper on like just like the common like
Lore.
cultural lore. Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
So Marco Polo and others would circulate their legend, including claims that they were in thrall to an old man in the mountain, which was Hasan.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems well, if they say so.
Yeah.
And also you've probably got this a lot of surviving stuff is anti-assassin propaganda.
Oh, totally.
And B, it's like we talked about with the Native Americans and the giants or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just like every time you retell the story of catching the fish, it gets bigger.
Oh, right.
Right.
Totally.
The exaggeration gets more. It's
Yeah.
Marco, from his own mouth, his own pen, described them as from the ages of 12 to 20 years, selected from the inhabitants of the surrounding mountains, who showed a disposition for martial exercises and appeared to possess the quality of daring courage.
So what was happening was a bunch of dudes were rolling out from the castle and being like, that kid's kind of buff. That kid's kind of buff. He likes to fight a little.
Or they're
He's-
fighting, and it's like, oh, dude, he's got a good ground game.
Yeah. Oh, man, he can grapple. Yeah. Just like scoping the dudes. You know, you go out,
yeah.
do a little scout visit. You think they rolled up in like a visor and a dry fit assassin polo?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, and some gym shorts. Yeah.
The real fancy ones come in a helicopter to impress them.
Well, I guess back then a hang glider or something.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Whoa, he just hang glided onto my goat farm.
Holy shit.
Man, I gotta join that
Their
assassin group.
go-to method of assassination, dagger.
That's a good
Hell yeah.
method.
Public.
Ooh,
Need to make a statement.
very cartel. Very cartel. I like that.
And they like the dagger because obviously more blood.
yeah, I mean, it's
They want it to be as gruesome as possible in
You
front
d-
of as many people as possible.
because it sends a message while also accomplishing a goal. It's
And
nice.
they were the OG kind of suicide bombers. A lot of them knew when they went on missions, like, we're not coming home.
Yeah, it's gonna be public, so I'm gonna get.
And a
got.
lot, if they killed the guy, they would give themselves up and just get cut down.
Yeah,
They would
you want
never
'em-
be captured, but they would allow themselves to die.
yeah. They suicide by whatever is about to kill you, I guess.
Suicide by cop?
Yeah, suicide by Middle Eastern cop.
But yeah,
Ancient or mid whatever. That's really funny. That they're just like, we got to make a mess,
yeah. Make it messy.
make it gross.
But they would often pose as lowly servants, harmless civilians, religious clerics.
They're like, man, the fucking butler is yoked.
It's like, why are all of the like bellboys here
Yeah.
like the strongest men I've ever seen? They're all high. They're all high as shit.
I expect that out of a bellboy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess fair. I wonder like how strong the hash was.
I know.
Like if it's enough, I wonder because like hash is hash. Like that is hash. Like it hasn't changed a whole lot. Like I think the oil and stuff has, but like hash is still strong now. But it's the same stuff that we were getting back then. It's not like flour, you know.
Right.
And
So
you weren't safe anywhere. You could be in your bedroom, your chambers. You could be with your homie, just get a nice dinner. You could be coming out of the mosque.
ooh, they didn't give a fuck, huh? Just not in the mosque, I meant.
Not in the mosque, outside. though.
See, Catholics will do it in the church. That was your episode, wasn't it?
What?
Where a guy got assassinated in church or something like that.
Oh yeah. That was the
The bibbidi bobbidis.
That was the Medici family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making me leak a spaghetti all over the pew.
So the order
And 9 months.
survived 200 years of battles against the Turks, the Crusaders, any, just kind of enemy in the Middle East around that time. But they ultimately met their end, or at least as a power, because they do exist today.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
They do exist.
I guess
Cover
we'll
that
get-
later.
We're going to get to that?
We'll get to that.
Okay.
Good. Explain that, please.
They were finally overrun and overmatched at Alamut by the Mongols.
Of course they were.
Remember
There's-
the Alamut.
There is no
Yeah.
T-shirt.
Remember the Alamut?
Remember the Alamut. That no one will buy that shirt.
Yeah. That's a real deep cut.
Yeah.
Of course the fucking Mongols do it, though. They're just like a fucking wave.
Yeah.
They're
You
like
can't stop them.
they're like the fucking like Borg or some
It's
crazy
World War Z shit.
Yeah, literally World War Z shit.
Yep.
You're not safe on the moon.
1256, our boy Hulagu and his soldiers just burned that bitch to the ground.
Like, you know what?
They're like, haha, our fortress is impregnable. And there's like cut to 10 minutes later. Everyone's dead.
It's like, oh, so you're trapped in our new oven? Like, we're going to just smoke you out of this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its prized library was burned, destroying much of the recorded history of the assassins. The last Grand Master of the sect, Muhammad III's son, Kershash, was taken to the Great Khan's court in chains. And, once he gets back to Mongolia, is beaten to death in front of the court.
Oh, sweet.
That
What
must
a
have been
long trip.
Yeah. It's a long way to go just to be, all right, here he is. Beat him up. Like pinata night in Mongol camp.
But it's
Mongol
only
camp.
just pieces of him falling out.
It's just little bones instead of candy.
So the Persian branches, they all kind of crumble and fall. Obviously, the capital's gone. They've lost it. The Syrian branch of assassins survived the initial Mongol onslaught. In 1260, they allied with the Mamelukes and helped to drive the Mongols out of Syria.
Okay.
However, without the power and influence of Alamut, the isolated assassins had little chance of survival. Their Mameluke allies soon turned on them and conquered the last remaining strongholds in Syria, ending the main period of the assassin history.
The Mamluks, of course, being the Unsullied.
Yes.
Yeah, the slave warriors from Egypt.
Yeah.
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 After the destruction of the assassin centers by the Mongols, the group scattered widely and, despite often facing prosecution, managed to preserve their religion, intellectual and common traditions, and according to the Institute of Ismaili Studies in London, today the community still survives and is spread across 5 continents in 30 countries.
How many Ismaili Muslims are there today? So that's
Yeah.
who's- I want to know.
Is that like,
That'd be funny if so are these like just like Muslim Mormons, but they start out way cooler than our Mormons?
yeah.
They're just like the weird third sect.
right. Well, is Mormonism the third sect even of Christianity?
I wouldn't call it Protestantism. I
That would be
wouldn't
the
call
se-
them Protestants.
Yeah, I guess they kind of just start on their own shit with
Ye-
the gold tablets and all that. They
Yeah.
have no like
It says there's 12 to 15 million.
of the assassons or just the
Ismaili.
small. Okay, well, are the assassins people that claim that still rolling around and organized?
Something you'd have to ask an Ismaili.
Where
I
are they
don't
mostly
think I want to.
located? Are they still mostly in like Persia or in Iran, I guess?
They are spread from South Asia, Africa, Middle East, Europe, and North America. Even Australia.
They've
Where-
infiltrated every continent.
Antarctica. They got one down
They got a
there.
base down there, yeah.
There's just two guys.
Makes you wonder,
So
was Obama and his Mali Muslim?
that is the
I
story
don't know.
of the Order of the Assassins. Who's today's Hitler?
Today's Hitler. I mean,
There wasn't really a bad guy per se, but the guy who founded it was a bad guy.
yeah. I mean,
Was he?
You didn't tell the story in the way that there was a protagonist-antagonist situation.
yeah.
But, like, very clearly, the guy who founded it was a piece of shit. Like, not for, muscling a guy out of a fort, but just the
Hassan?
yeah,
think
just the taking kids and getting them hooked on drugs
I think,
and pussy.
yeah, it's not even that part really. It's the, hey, watch this, jump.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that part.
Right.
Yeah. Like, cool, man. You did it.
It's like, who's the Hitler of The Godfather? It's kind of Michael Corleone.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I guess you don't like a good anti-hero.
He is the anti-hero in it, yeah.
It's,
Well, I mean, I do love Hitler, so
I
there's
don't,
one
I
anti-hero
don't know if,
I'm
I
a
don't,
big fan of.
I don't know if you can qualify him as an anti-hero.
Hitler?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no hero.
Well, I know it means anti, like I know what anti means, but like,
But that term's almost been changed.
yeah, there's something at least slightly redeemable about.
Like there's
Right.
something redeemable about Tony Soprano.
there's something
nothing-
redeemable. There's hardly anything redeemable about Tony Soprano, but
But there's still a sliver.
there's a sliver. It's like Don Draper, slight sliver of like, okay, he has a conscience at least. It's just like,
Walt from Breaking Bad.
I guess he's, well, then, I mean, I guess Hitler kind of is an anti-hero in a way. Like,
Let's not do this. We're not
Yeah,
doing
we don't need to keep walking down this bit road. I
well,
was
it's okay. I'm doing it. So I'm going to keep walking it.
You
like,
go for it.
Militarily, very up to snuff, I think, as far as like getting shit done.
I guess there's a lot of
It's
actually
a-
that's a whole episode we could do on
Who's responsible for the success there?
well
Like,
that and also just like did they get really lucky?
they might have.
Because a lot of people are starting to say like France was just pure luck.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
And
My
like,
understanding is France just kind of laid down.
France kind of got like okay,
Bulldozed.
let me put it this way. France was that Ben Askren knockout,
The knee.
the knee to the
The
head.
Jorge Masvidal knee.
Yeah. That was kind of what happened.
It's like they got just domed and were like, what happened?
Right. Because, and it was like so out of nowhere because they were getting ready to fight, and it's like, oh, dude, this is gonna be a real ass fight. This is gonna be a good ass fight, and then flying knee kick
yeah,
out of nowhere.
I feel like the
fine.
Nazis were like surprised too. They're like, "Oh fuck,
Yeah,
we
like,
did
it worked.
it! Holy
Because
shit!"
I think Masvidal just did it. He didn't know he was gonna land it perfectly.
Derek Lewis has since done it. It was awesome. Did you guys learn anything today?
Yeah, I learned midnight's always been a thing. You know, Blank with the Brothers is a timeless format.
Yeah,
Blank with the Brothers in the Garden.
my
Like,
fraternity has so much more in common with terrorism than I thought.
you kidding me? Like almost every bro activity is so close to terrorism, it's a joke.
Yeah, that's what I learned was if you took your fraternity, went back in time, and just had the right strategy, you could take out giant armies.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I went like hunting earlier this year. Most of the time, I was just in camo on the back of a truck with a semi-automatic rifle.
Yeah.
Like that's 90% of ISIS.
Yeah.
Just rolling around with your boys in camo and a gun in the back of a truck.
That's why the Taliban hates their lives now.
No, because the fun part is just riding around in the truck.
With your
If you
homies.
take away the shooting of the gun and the killing, fucking hunting and terrorism is the same thing. Like you're
Would you
just killing an
consider
animal.
these guys terrorists, or more just their own thing?
I think they're closer to organized crime than terrorism.
Yeah.
But there's
Terrorism
a
is
political bent to it.
yeah, I mean, like terrorism is just a label enemies give, like opponents of that group give to those groups too, in a way. Like, I mean,
I suppose were they primarily a political force, or did they have anything else that they did?
No, just a sect of religion that was super devout to, I believe, Shiite Muslim beliefs. They were just hardcore Shiites.
Okay. Huh. So they're okay.
So they're radicalists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that at that time, that's kind of political. I mean, religion and politics is same side of
This-
the,
yeah.
sides of the same coin. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they were never going after like giant groups of people that were civilians. It was always just like political assassinations.
That's why the fact that it was political and military, it makes me think like, well, they had it was causing terror to civilians, but
very rarely would they touch them.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, right? I think we could do a whole fucking 30 minutes on the disambiguation of like terrorism versus like terrorism as a group versus terrorism as a tool used by a group that's not exclusively a terrorist group.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of different ways to shake that out.
Yeah. People like to toss around like state-sponsored terrorism all
It's
the
like
time.
that's just like war kind of. It's
a lot of times,
Yeah,
just-
like
yeah.
it's hard to really get there. Did you just try to shoot web?
No, I was trying to get the blade to come out of my.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That would have been sick if you had one, but it was just like a real jerry-rigged ass like
It's just a butter knife.
kitchen knife. Just, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking pops out.
It's a steak
No word on whether or not they had those little blades that came out of their
Did you
chopped off finger.
dive deep on that?
No,
Huh.
not really.
Damn.
I mean, obviously the video game's going to take its own liberties.
Yeah.
Make the story a little bit more digestible for people and cooler.
Yeah, and give you like a reason to root for the guy you're playing as.
I think the video game isn't doing enough because you don't even get to do midnight in the video game.
There should be like the
No.
entire. It should start like NCAA football, where you're a recruit
Yeah.
and like you're getting recruited by Hassan, and you got to like go to opium with the brothers night, and like you got to play through that.
You did say you have to walk off a cliff or something though, don't you?
Some people that he, I guess, probably didn't think was as valuable he would ask them to jump off the cliff and die.
No, but I mean like in the video game, don't you like jump off a cliff?
Oh, there's plenty of locations where you get to a high point, you just jump into a stack of hay.
yeah, there's
Perfectly
always a
fine.
good stack of hay there.
Always helpful. Yes.
Breaks your fall.
Can you imagine if that was like totally true and accurate to history? Like all they would have to do is be like, all right, we got to stop putting the bales of hay like right under the roof lines, guys,
Stop storing your hay.
where the assassins can jump down.
It's helping them get away.
Yeah, please stop doing this.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool that it was a real organization and there's some historical basis to the video game.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great. I wish there were more games like that. Honestly, there aren't too many. There's some good. I think like a lot of the historical games are ones that I don't really play, which are like set piece kind of like strategy games that you like,
Yeah,
Rob.
most history games are like strategy games.
Call
Although,
of Duty used to be.
yeah,
Like World War
Yeah.
II, Medal of Honor.
yeah,
Yeah.
They've
those.
since moved away from that and are like modern warfare.
But it's
Yeah.
hard to, and it's hard to make a fun and like somewhat accurate game. It feels like anything before World War One, because
Reload time alone.
exactly. So there's this game. And it's an interesting game, and I like watching videos of it sometimes. But it's like a Civil War multiplayer first-person shooter called War of Rights, and like it's interesting. But like you have to get in a line with a unit. You have to like have a clan or whatever, you know, you gotta like, and it's a fucking lot. And anything before that, before Gunpowder, is just like a hack and slash game. Like I've watched some gameplay on those. There's something called Rise of Rome. Have you heard of that? I think it's on like PlayStation, Xbox, shit like that. You like are invading England or something and fighting Celts and shit. But it's like, I mean, it's like really arcadey, and it's not. It's that like
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, like you can do that, like some fights and stuff like that. But if you like a full hack and slash battle is kind of weird. I feel
Yeah,
like.
I mean, it lends itself to being.
They've
a
had
good
a
game.
couple of those battles though in like the Viking game for Assassin's Creed.
Oh,
Valhalla,
do they?
And then they had one. I mean, they have like naval battles.
Oh, that's sick.
That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. The video game I remember the most that's a history video game is Mario History. Did you ever play that? It is a Mario franchise. It's a Mario franchised history game where you like surf through time. Like, so there's a whole surfing element to
Sweet.
it, and you go into like whirlpools, and
Yeah.
then you end up in like, it's the day the Magna Carta is getting
Yeah.
signed. You have to
Hey.
learn about the Magna Carta, and then you end up back in a castle. You're trying to free Luigi, I think.
Yeah.
But you have to with history
Yoshi.
facts.
Yoshi,
was this on?
Christopher Columbus
It
is a
was on-
hero in this house.
It was a Super Nintendo game. It was called like Mario History or like Super Mario History. It is the weirdest game I've ever played in my life.
Nothing for that.
Sorry, no. He was asking what the game was. Your Mario impression was fantastic.
Was it Mario's time machine?
Yes, it's that.
But also the Soprano callback.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you do the joke again?
It's okay.
Oh, do it again.
Damn, dude, we might need to play through this. Might need to get a
ROM of it or something.
yeah.
I don't
play through Mario's time machine.
I wonder if it's floating around in any of my shit because I have some old Super Nintendo games floating around.
Oh, it was a computer. Well, it was on Nintendo, but it was also a computer game.
Yeah, it is. It is weird. It is a weird one.
I'm excited that we have Thanksgiving coming up later this month, and I think our work might be out of town, so might have like a whole week where I can just play video games.
Hell yeah, dude.
So I'm gonna finish this game. I'm gonna fucking kill some of the Caliphate.
It's fun to beat a game. I don't never have that much time to do
I know.
it anymore.
I put so many hours into the last one, Valhalla, and just never finished. Because once you fall off, it's over.
Oh, trying
It's
to pick
over.
back up. Yeah, you got to stay consistent on some of those.
So, with that said, make sure to not miss one of these podcasts. If you're a listener of Softcore History, we love you. Keep listening for all the past episodes, all the future episodes. Listen to the Patreon episodes. Again, patreon.com/softcorehistory. Leave a review, please and thank you. And for Rob Fox and Jay Goldman, I'm Dan Regester, and you just got soft served.